Hello and welcome to the last fading light of the day. March is over and with it, seemingly, the world. This month has been one of the wildest in recent memory. I read 12 books this month. They range quite widely, so let's get started. The first book I read was The Hidden Power of Fucking Up by the Try Guys. You probably know the Try Guys. They are an internet phenomena. I love the Try Guys so much, which is why I read this book. Gotta say, do not love the book. It's like a YouTuber book. I hate to say it because, they hate when you say it, but I'm gonna say it. It's a YouTuber book. I read The Word for World is Forest by Ursula K. Le Guin. Fantastic. I highly recommend this to anyone who likes sci-fi. It is a really interesting commentary on the Vietnam War, on racism, on militarism. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I read Opal by Maggie Stiefvater. This is I don't know if I would say short story. I think it's a novella, which is 4.5 of the Raven Cycle. And I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, but I loved it. I, again and again, am just flabbergasted at how much I love the characters in the Raven Cycle. They feel like my best friends in a weird sort of way. So, another win from me. I read Winter Song by S.J. Jones. This is kind of like an Enchantment of Ravens, which actually is, funnily enough, right there. It is kind of like a love story between a goblin and a little German peasant. But this one's more of an adventure-ish kind of story. Honestly, didn't like it that much. Gonna give it a 2 stars. I read The Growing Up by Gillian Flynn, which is a short story. I'm just gonna say, love myself some Gillian Flynn. I also read another one of her books later on. Actually, I'll just say it now. I read Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, which is her debut novel. Fantastic. I'm not gonna say anything about it because I feel like not knowing anything and going in fresh to her books makes the experience, but stupendous. The first ending was good, but then the second ending, mind blown. Loved it. Everything about it, fantastic. Yes, I did read it because Paperback Dreams read it this month and I was inspired. We don't have to talk about it. I read The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. I probably butchered that name, I'm sorry. 5 out of 5 stars. I would say, am I gonna say it? I think I'm gonna say it. Better than Six of Crows? Don't flame me, but I said what I said. It is amazing. It is very Six of Crows, and you guys know that normally when books are really familiar like that, I'm not a big fan. This antithesis of that, I was like, yes, give me more. I want to drink it in. I love the characters, I love the story, I love the setting. Fantastic. If you even remotely enjoyed Six of Crows, I cannot recommend it enough. I read Born by Jeff Vandermeer, 5 out of 5 stars. The weirdest book I've ever read in my life, and I loved that about it. I read this for my, I don't even know what the class is called. It's climate change fiction. I had no idea this book existed. I didn't know who this author was, and now I'm irrevocably changed. I highly recommend it. It is a complete, absolute it gets into your brain and it sits there and then it pops out at random times, even when you're long after you finished it. I finished this a week and a half ago, and sometimes I'm still thinking about the characters and the story. Very strange to read it in the time that we're living in, but maybe that's why we should read it now more than ever. I read Code Girls by Lisa Mundi. This was a nonfiction book about the codebreaker all-woman team in World War II that were in charge of breaking the codes that were saving people's lives, but they never really got the recognition they deserved because, spoiler alert, they were women, so people didn't care. Interesting story, would love to read an article on it. The book, I read it as an audiobook, and may I be frank with you, I fell asleep listening to this audiobook 3 times, which doesn't happen to me. I would like wake up in a dead sweat, like, and like have to go back to where I was. And I hate to be mean, but I think, can I like, there's like a huge stack of books here. I'm worrying if I can, nope, I can do it. I like, don't recommend it. I mean, it was super interesting, don't get me wrong. But if there's a concise version of it you could find, like perhaps an article, like, or an interview with the author. The audiobook was just painfully long. I read Sick Kids in Love by Hannah Moskowitz. My video review of this will be coming out pretty soon, probably in the next week. This book made me feel things that I haven't ever felt before. I read Minaret by Mina Abulela. That's for comparative studies, boring, don't recommend it at all. Finally, I read The Awakening by Kate Chopin. Super interesting, love a good feminist story. Edna out there reppin', love a good, also there's so much like French in this novel, and you guys know, j'aime beaucoup le français. But if you haven't read it, give it a little read. It's a pretty short novel, you can bust through it, but it like, she's a hard hitter. Okie doke, so that wraps up my 12 books for this month. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. Please wash your hands, please stay 6 feet away from people, but also reach out to those around you. I wish I had more to say. I wish I had more concrete words of comfort. I wish I had some sense of knowledge of how long this will be or what this will be like when it's over, but I don't. So instead, I'm just going to say that I love you all very much. And like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.